Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Economics Talk. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is scope of microeconomics. In the previous video we have discussed about the nature or the study of microeconomics. If you haven't watched out that video till now, you can simply go to my channel and go to the playlist. You will find that video there. Okay, so today we are going to discuss scope of microeconomics. Now this topic is very much simple to understand, but you will find a difficulty while writing or while presenting this answer in your answer scripts. So today we will discuss it in a way that I believe you will not be left with any other doubt after watching the whole video. Okay, let's dive down in this topic. Before going to the basic, before going directly on the topic, let's start with microeconomics. Microeconomics is what? Microeconomics is a subject which deals with individual units. Microeconomics is a subject which deals with individual units. Now while discussing about the individual units, it derives a conclusion which can be applied to the whole economy. Conclusion which can be applied to the whole economy. So that means if I have studied about a particular individual consumption factors, what determines the consumption factors of a particular individual, we can conclude that this particular factors can be applied to the whole economy. That means all the individuals in the economy are more or less having that same level of consumption factors. Okay, now let's move to our major topic, that is scope of microeconomics. Before going directly to the answer, we need to know what is scope. What do you mean by scope? In the previous video as we have discussed nature. Nature means what? Nature means kind of characteristics. Okay, nature means characteristics, features, whereas scope particularly means roots, branches. That means where we can find this microeconomics, where we can find microeconomics. We find microeconomics wherever we find microeconomics. That means it has its scope over that particular domain. Okay, fine. Now let's go to the direct answers from this point. So the first topic we have in scope of microeconomics is theory of economic welfare. Now when we say welfare can have different viewpoints. Okay, like it can be economic, it can also be social, it can also be political. Like this we can understand welfare from different point of views, but in this we have what? Economic welfare. So particularly we will drive down into economics point of view. So economic welfare basically means employment opportunities should be there. We also mean consumption should be there. From this we can also mean distribution should be there. Like this we have different factors which comes under economic welfare. But to have a better understanding, let's go with the points. The first we have is economic efficiency in production. Now economic efficiency in production basically means that we should produce goods and services in our country in such a way that we are not bound to import the goods from other countries outside our domestic border. Okay, so that means we should produce efficiently in our country and should not be dependent on any other different countries for the consumption of different goods and services. Okay, so economic efficiency means 100% production domestically, and it also means no import of goods. Fine, no imports of goods and services. So the basic meaning drive down in this, that we should produce the goods and services in our country 100% and should not be dependent on any other country for the consumption of any particular good. So that means if we have achieved this situation, particular situation, then we can say that we have economic efficiency in production. Now the next point is economic efficiency in consumption or distribution. Economic efficiency in consumption or distribution. Basically you can write consumption or you can write distribution. Now this doesn't mean now this economic efficiency in consumption means what? We should have the goods at our hand, whichever it is produced in the country, whatever it is produced in the country. That means after having economic efficiency in production, suppose our country is huge, right? Our country is huge. So in this situation, if our country is producing major part of the goods and services in Delhi, and after producing these goods and services in Delhi, the government examined the situation and they have come to the conclusion that we don't need to import goods from other countries. In that situation, that means what? We have achieved economic efficiency in production. After achieving this economic efficiency in production, the next step that should be achieved is efficiency in consumption. That means producing the good is not enough. It should reach the hands of the needy one. That means if I want rice, I should have the rice available in my market and I should have the ability to buy that rice. So this basically means what? Producing is not enough, it should reach the hands of the citizens. So that means we should have the goods at the markets. After having the goods in the markets, in the local markets, in the nearby markets, we can buy the good and we can have the consumption, which will lead us to economic efficiency in consumption in this particular situation. Okay, I think this is clear. Let's go to the next. It has one more topic, that is overall economic efficiency. Now this is very simple. If you have understand the above 2 points, you can understand this point also, that overall economic efficiency means what? Overall economic efficiency denotes the efficiency in both production and in consumption. That means we have achieved economic efficiency in production of goods. That means we are not bound to import goods from any other country, and we have economic efficiency in consumption. That means whatever we need, we are getting that particular product in our local markets. So after achieving these two situations, we will lead to a situation which is overall economic efficiency. Okay, so this is the theory of economic welfare that comes on the scope of microeconomics. Let's move to the next one, that is theory of factor pricing. Now before going to theory of factor pricing, we need to know what are the factors of production. So there are basically 4 factors of production. The first one we have is land. Next we have is labor. Third is capital. And the fourth is entrepreneurs. Now after we know that there are 4 factors of production, these 4 factors of productions are used in the production process. That means without these 4 factors of production, we can't have production. Okay, after applying all these 4 factors of production, we can have a particular amount of production of any particular unit of good. Fine. Now this doesn't mean that employing the factors of production is enough. We need to pay them certain things. That means we need to give them certain amount of money for their amount in our product, for their amount of time they have given us in the process of production. So what payment, what remuneration we give to them? So we give, for land we give what? Rent. For labor we give them wages. For capital it is interest, and for entrepreneurs the aim is to achieve profits. Fine. So these are the 4 factors of productions and the 4 payments that we give them to these 4 factors of production. Now this is the factor pricing. Theory of factor pricing, what this determines what factor should be given what amount of money in return of their services that they have devoted to the process of production. Okay, so it discuss what amount should we give to that particular individual for the services. Suppose we are employing labor, So if one labor is working 10 hours a day, then we have to pay them a particular amount of money for that employment given to us by him for the 10 hours. So that is the theory of factor pricing. We have to give a particular price to the factors of production. The last we have is theory of consumption. Now theory of consumption can be determined with two bases, that is demand analysis and number two is supply analysis. We know that in demand analysis, price and demand are negatively related. Okay, we have already discussed these things, and price and demand are positively related in supply analysis. That means whenever price increases, demand falls, and in this situation, supply analysis, whenever price increases, the quantity supplied in the economy, that is quantity that will be supplied in the economy, will be positively related. Now for this, let's go with the basics, that is let's discuss the diagram. It will be more easier for you to understand. Okay, so let's say this is a diagram. We have two axes here. Let's say we have considered this y-axis, that this is x-axis, this is the origin. In the x-axis we are measuring quantity, in the y-axis we are measuring price. Now as we have already discussed, in demand analysis, price and quantity are negatively related. So the demand curve is always negatively related in case of normal goods. So DD is the demand curve, this is the SS, that is the supply curve. Okay, where price and quantity supplied are positively related. Let's consider here some values, say 5, 10, 15, 20. Here again same 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, now suppose in an economy we are at this position where the price is 5 and the quantity is 5. That means what? In the demand in the supply side, if you see, when the price is 5, we are supplying the quantity supplied, that is unit 5. But when the price is 5, we are demanding the quantity that is very much, that is say consider 22. So that is represented by the demand line. Suppose the price increase to 10. In this situation what happens? In this situation what happens? The supply of the quantity increases to 14. From 5 it increases to 14, whereas the quantity demanded decreases from 22 to 17. That means as the price increases, the quantity demanded quantity supplied increases. That is a positive relationship in the supply curve. And when the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. That is a negative relationship in the demand curve. Okay, this is what the diagram shows. I have given all the analysis here. Now the intersection between the demand and the supply curve will give us what? The equilibrium point. Okay, at this point when the price is 15 and the quantity demanded is 15, the price is 12 and the quantity demanded is 15, we have the equilibrium point. Okay, the demand and the supply analysis determines the theory of the consumption. Through this point, it shows that at price 12 the economy will have a consumption demand of 15 and the supplier will supply the same amount, that is 15. After achieving this level, we will have what? Consumption maximization. Fine. So this is what is drawn from this theory of consumption. Now this 3 points, that is theory of economic welfare, theory of factor pricing and theory of consumption, are the 3 major scope of microeconomics. Okay, so with this we are done with today's topic. Let's recap a bit. We have started with the discussion of microeconomics, then we have dived down to the concept of scope of microeconomics. And scope of microeconomics, we have discussed 3 points. The first was theory of economic welfare. In theory of economic welfare, we have again discussed 3 points, that is theory economic efficiency in production, then economic efficiency in consumption, and lastly overall economic efficiency. The next point we have is 4 factors of production, and we have discussed the 4 different enterprises, that the 4 different factors of productions are given. And lastly, we have discussed theory of consumption. In this theory of consumption, we have discussed 2 points, that is demand analysis and the supply analysis. After discussing all this, we are done with the topic of scope of microeconomics. Thank you very much listening till the last. If you have any doubt, please comment down the topic you have doubt in, and I will be covering up all those topics in my next video. Thank you.